some children fail the 11 plus?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say to that is that grammar schools tend not to express the result in terms of pass and fail anymore. They used to, or some did. They tend to now express it in terms of your child has attained a score which makes them eligible to be considered for a place at a grammar school, or your child has not attained a score sufficient to make them eligible. And that is a good thing, because pass and fail, well, there's a lot of stigma attached to fail. So that's a good thing. So that's the first thing. It's not a pass or fail. It's a case of, is the score good enough to make your child eligible for a place? And that's what we want to aim for. So that's the first thing. Now, the score that is required to make a child eligible for a place at grammar school is set such that the majority of children will not attain that score. So in other words, it's not a fixed standard. It is a selection test which is designed to select roughly the top quarter of the ability range. So the score that makes children eligible for a place, or eligible to be considered for a place at grammar school, is set such that only the top quarter performers will attain that score, which of course means that the other 3/4 will not attain that score, which of course is the majority of children. The majority of the children who don't make that score, it will be because they are not in the appropriate ability range, or they do not have that level of academic ability that would suit them to grammar school. However, some of the children who are in that bottom 3/4 will be children who have high academic ability and may well have thrived in a grammar school, but they didn't make it because their performance on the day was not good enough.
So what are the factors that determine a child's performance on the actual day?
Now, there are a number of things that can cause a child who is able and well prepared. Obviously, if they did not prepare well, a child who has high ability can be outperformed by a child with slightly lesser natural ability, but who had prepared that little bit better. But let's assume that a child has high natural ability and has prepared in a suitable way. Some of those children still lose out, meaning they don't get a high enough score to make them eligible. Now, these children fall into one or more of the following categories. On the day they underperform because they were slightly ill. That's a very common one, and I advise strongly against it. Even a sniffle, a runny nose, can cause a child to underperform because it will reduce that child's ability to concentrate and to think clearly. And when the test is that competitive, it can make the difference between getting a good enough score and not. So illness, what I would recommend to any parent is that if your child is ill, even slightly ill, and if that result really matters, and if your child is a genuinely good candidate for grammar school, don't take the chance. Take your child to the doctor and get a doctor's note, and the grammar schools allow for a slightly later sitting to cater for that eventuality. So illness is one. Many children take the exam when they're slightly ill. Another is that children were distracted on the day that they took the test. Now, there can be many reasons for this, but some that typically come up are that there's a new baby in the house, and that's causing a lot of excitement, or there are guests visiting in the run-up period to the exam, and that's a distraction. So, I have had a situation where the parents had promised their child, if you do your best in the exam, then afterwards we're going to take you to Thorpe Park. And during the test, of course, the child is thinking about Thorpe Park instead of the test that they're doing. So although the intention was good, the effect of it was counterproductive. So parents have to, if you like, be their children's psychologists a little bit. Another reason is children can get phased. They can be nervous or stressed at the time, and the experience of the exam caused them to be phased and not be able to apply themselves, not to be able to think clearly. And that again is a bit of psychology that parents have to apply to allow their child to be at their best on the day of the exam. Another reason that again I've seen in the past many parents don't appreciate enough is that their children are not sufficiently motivated. Now, obviously, when a child is not motivated, the parents are aware of this because it's a struggle to get them to go to classes, to do the work, to do their corrections and so on. And yet the parents will insist that their child continues preparing and so on. However, even if their child has done everything that the parents have asked, on the day of the exam, if the child's heart is not in it and they are not motivated to go to ground school, they will not perform to their potential. And I have seen this, that children not consciously, deliberately choose to fail the test, but because their heart's not in it, they don't give it their best. So the child is unmotivated. Not that they're not able, not that they're not prepared, they're just not motivated. So if you like, they're not psychologically prepared for it. And last but not least, it can be something as simple as the night before the exam, the child did not get a full night's sleep. They might have, gone to bed late, got up early, or had a broken sleep. And that too, just like a sniffle will affect a child's concentration, not having had a full night's sleep before can also affect their concentration and the outcome.
Okay. So if you'd like more information about the courses available, then please feel free to look around the videos on this site or contact the office during office hours on the number provided above. And alternatively, you can email us through the Contact Us page.